Getting a job in Canada is one of the biggest challenges faced by women who immigrate from the global south. That is particularly true for women arriving with a professional background of studies and employment abroad. Although Canadian immigration policies favor granting citizenship to those with professional qualifications and experience, the experience of such immigrants is often frustrating. Employers, professional associations, and accrediting agencies sometimes act in ways that would seem to contradict the goals of Canada's immigration policies. Language can be a significant barrier for immigrant women. Obtaining professional employment in one's field can be very difficult for immigrants who are racialized and whose language skills are not aligned with what employers take for granted as marking quote-unquote professional status. Stereotypes, prejudice, and misconceptions can lead to hiring decisions that place immigrant women at a disadvantage due to intersectional factors including gender, race, language skills, age, citizenship status, and the lack of recognition of the quality of education obtained abroad.
In this episode, we will come to understand what it is to be a professional immigrant woman in Canada, focusing on the experiences of the Latinas and employing the conceptual lenses of intersectionality. We will learn about the challenges they face to have their qualifications recognized and the barriers to obtain jobs, enabling them to demonstrate their full potential.
Tenemos que entender que la categoría género no está funcionando de manera aislada, no es que todas las mujeres experimentan las violencias o la precariedad laboral en los entornos de destino de la misma manera. Creo que tiene que ver con no solamente la nacionalidad, tiene que ver con el color de piel, tiene que ver con la clase social a la que pertenecen, tiene que ver con el propio entorno familiar con el que están migrando, con la edad, ¿no? Si están, en qué momento están de su etapa o de su vida familiar, si están embarazadas, si migran como madres o migran como mujeres de la tercera edad, como madres de bebés. Es decir, hay como muchísimos elementos que tenemos que ver, porque yo lo que veo es que el mayor eje de desigualdad es las mujeres que están migrando con sus hijos y con los hijos muy pequeños, ¿no? Porque eso les impide poder tener un acceso a simplemente a veces hacer sus propios trámites migratorios, porque no hay quien les cuide a los niños. Entonces, yo creo que tiene que ver con la clase social, tiene que ver con la edad y tiene que ver, por supuesto, con el tema racial, pero sobre todo creo que tiene que ver con el tipo de trabajo de cuidados con el que ellas están migrando, el tipo de responsabilidad que tienen, lo que les puede dar mayor o menor posibilidad de libertad para muchas cosas, ¿no?
Gender, race, literacy, age, education, economic status, and language are some of the factors that intersect in shaping one's search for a job and a better quality of life. When people become a racialized minority due to immigration, and when they are women, getting a job is harder. According to Statistics Canada, rates of unemployment in Canada are quite different for men and women, for immigrants and non-immigrants, and for people who are and are not members of a visible minority community. In 2021, visible minorities in Canada, including those of Latin American heritage, had a significantly higher rate of unemployment than white people. Male immigrants have lower rates of unemployment than non-immigrant males, but female immigrants have higher rates of unemployment than non-immigrant males. Thus, Latin American women suffer a double disadvantage. Their gender and their visible minority status leads them to have to work harder to get a job. Rates of unemployment among different categories of Canadians contrast sharply with the levels of educational attainment of Canadians. Immigrants are far more likely than non-immigrants in Canada to possess a university degree, and women are far more likely than men in Canada to possess a university degree. In fact, visible minority immigrant women are more than twice as likely than white non-immigrant men to have earned a university degree. This prompts a reflection about which barriers visible minority immigrant women must face in the Canadian labor market. Such barriers are highly variable, but often include factors such as the challenges of having your foreign earned credentials recognized and facing the sometimes prejudicial attitudes of hiring managers.
En fin, yo he tenido un montón de enseñanzas, tropezando con la sociedad, tropezando con la vida, que durante estos 2 años y medio, y que todavía estoy conformando para lograr decir, bueno, realmente yo quiero hacer esto, yo puedo hacer esto y empezar a aplicar a trabajo en esa dirección. Porque además te sientes frustrado. Tú dices, bueno, ya yo pasé este curso, ya puedo presentar, aplicar a todo lo que se parezca, que yo crea que es similar a esto, o que yo puedo hacer por mi experiencia de trabajo, y empiezas a aplicar y aplicar y aplicar, y nadie te llama para entrevistas, y tú dices, ¿qué pasa? ¿Qué estoy haciendo mal? Igual ves que hay una tremenda masa de personas sin trabajo, hay un montón de personas desempleadas, o que empiezan a emplearse en cosas así de limpieza o de trabajar en una fábrica haciendo cosas que nunca en su vida han hecho porque necesitan pagar las cuentas pero que a su vez están buscando otros trabajos más profesionales en relación con sus vidas anteriores. Y tú dices, pero bueno, ¿lo logro o no lo logro? Yo soy una persona con una actitud muy positiva y yo digo que sí que lo voy a lograr, que voy a lograr trabajar en una oficina, ayudando personas como siempre lo he hecho, promoviendo buenas actitudes, promoviendo la solidaridad y el humanismo, pero bueno, todavía no lo logro. Pero bueno, hasta el momento no lo logro. Sí.
En ese periodo yo seguía aplicando a distintos trabajos. Al ver que yo no tenía una respuesta favorable en donde yo aplicaba, mi mental health empezó a disminuir mucho. Me sentía con muchísima ansiedad. Decía, bueno, o sea, ¿qué pasa conmigo? O sea, ¿qué tengo? ¿De verdad soy tan mala? El síndrome del impostor está ahí. Ahí, o sea, todos los días. Es que no, pues no te llaman porque eres mala. O sea, ve tu currículum, no tienes nada de Canadian Experience. Entonces tú piensas en tus mentes, en tus días bajos, que no sabes hacer nada, pero todo eso es tu mente, ¿verdad? Entonces, hay que tener la capacidad de cambiar esos pensamientos.
very smart and
Sí.
I don't have that sound. I don't have that.
Exacto.
Porque ellos aprenden por
Nosotros no la tenemos
sonido.
en nuestra cuerda vocal, entonces
Pero
ellos
tampoco
sí.
el oído, ¿sabes? Me lo dijo diferente.
For professional women that migrate to Canada, intersectionality shows up first with language proficiency. When English or French is not your first language, your confidence is undermined. Since language is essential for communication, if you internalize language proficiency as a barrier, it becomes a glass ceiling or a sticky floor when you go to the marketplace for jobs.
Once you start believing that your language is a barrier to you, it actually becomes a reality. So what I mean by that is I have clients with a little bit of a language barrier and a big, huge career back home. For example, in marketing in huge organizations that you know the name when you hear it. Mm-hmm. They have been working marketing, they have been working HR in those companies. But when they come here, everyone tells them you need to improve your English, you need to improve your English. Without language, you cannot do anything. And that keeps stuck in their mind, telling those women that without the language, you're nothing. The reality is they can express themselves very well. There might be like one vocabulary that they're missing, but they explain it in another way. It's very simple. People understand if they want to understand. And then whatever you internalize does keep happening because you kind of draw that, like each comment will become a big issue in your mind. And then, yeah, again, you internalize that whole concept of, I'm not good in English. I'm never gonna be as fluent as anyone else. I can't achieve that.
And he said, okay, I'm gonna give you a test. And he gave me, we were doing failure analysis, and he gave me a piece of a failed pipe. And he said, do the failure analysis, and I did it. When I wrote the report, I said, okay, I'm gonna have my husband's friend. He's a teacher. He's from Quebec, and he's a French teacher. So I said, who better to review my French? That Sunday night, I finalized it. On Monday, I'm all proud of myself, put it on my boss's desk, and he's like, okay, perfect, let me read it. 1 week passed, nothing. A week and a half, nothing. And I'm like, okay, can I speak with you? Yeah, what do you think about the report? And he said to me, I don't think you have the level of French that we need. And I said, okay, perfect. And at that moment, I understood that it was too big of a fight because I will never win it. So I started looking elsewhere. So when I came to him and I said, okay, you didn't give me the opportunity and I got an offer, so I'm here to give you my 2 weeks notice. And he was pale and he said, why? I'm like, because I want to grow. I am an engineer. I want to be an engineer. That's why I studied. That's all these, 2 years of process going on. So if you don't give me the opportunity, I'm going to get it elsewhere. And they're giving it to me. And that's when I left.
Y empiezo a buscar trabajo, como todo el mundo lo hace, pasando hojas de vida, presentando entrevistas. Terrible, porque como no tengo el idioma, te hacen una pregunta y te la pueden repetir 2, 3 veces, pero si no entiendes, no entiendes. Entonces empecé a buscar trabajos que yo decía, Dios mío, ¿qué hago? Necesito buscar, sí o sí. Y ya ahí viene la cultura latina, donde de pronto hay uno que sí sabe inglés y tiene su empresa y necesita trabajadores, entonces me puede dar trabajo. Y así lo hice y bueno, ahí pude.
Breaking through the glass ceiling or getting off of the sticky floor is a testament to achieving personal success and also to paving the way for a more inclusive and equitable future for others. Yet, for women, especially those from places like Latin America, the journey is rife with obstacles. Systemic biases and cultural barriers loom like towering walls, threatening to stifle ambition and derail dreams. Even today, women in Canada earn, on average, 87 cents for every dollar earned by men. Although this gender gap in salary has shrunk over time, it remains as a stark reminder of the disparities that still plague our society. And for women of color, like Latina immigrants, such challenges are compounded. At every level of educational attainment, visible minority Canadians earn substantially less than white Canadians. Thus, Latinas face a double burden of discrimination. Intersectionality exacerbates wage gaps, amplifying disparities in pay and opportunity. Professional immigrants bring with them a treasure trove of expertise and fresh perspectives, enriching the Canadian workforce with their unique skills. However, the road to professional employment often feels like a marathon of challenges. Navigating credential recognition and overcoming language barriers can feel like pushing against a relentless tide. Certification of credentials can become a glass ceiling that is hard to break through. But in the embrace of immigrant support organizations and mentorship programs lies a beacon of hope. With determination and guidance, they can transform setbacks into stepping stones towards realizing immigrants' professional dreams on Canadian soil.
It definitely affects the confidence. So what I mean by that is you come from a maybe high position back home, and when you come to Canada, you might have to start with entry-level jobs. And in your heart, these women know they can do better, and actually they can do maybe even better than some other people in Canada, but they just can't express and can't show it, and the credentials might also hold them back. So it really lets them question themselves and their skills, and the longer it takes to get back into that profession that they want to have and that the goals they want to achieve, the harder it is to keep that confidence and motivation.
Don't forget who you are, because that is something that it happened to me at some point, especially when I had that experience with my boss that said, "You're not good enough. Your French is not good enough." Although I had gotten all the tools and I followed all my checklists, and he said to me, no. That was a bump in my stomach. It's like, am I going to be ever good enough? That plays a role in the way you look at yourself, your self-esteem. Or when you learn that you have been underpaid by between 10 and 20%, like that's not small amount, for a long time. Or when you learn that all the efforts that you have done, someone else is presenting them without you being in the room. So there is a lot of things that will discourage you, but then find the ways that you're going to fight that discouragement within yourself, because those are things that you cannot fight outside. It has to come from inside.
Yo creo que el proceso migratorio es muy bueno, la política, pero no hay comunicación entre la política del Estado y los entes que te van a emplear. O sea, ahí hay no hay puentes. No hay puentes, no hay políticas para el profesional que ya viene profesional. O sea, más allá de que tú te puedas registrar, si ves la burocracia que hay detrás para registrarse como psicólogo, o ¿por qué la única opción es ir a hacer una maestría? O sea, ¿por qué no hay un puente de presentas un examen, haz pasantías? Que sí, la escuela de psicólogos tiene un examen escrito, pero para llegar a ese examen tienes que venir de acumular unas horas. En Latinoamérica no contamos las horas. Entonces, tú no le puedes demostrar a Canadá que tienes horas. Como no puedes demostrar las horas, no te puedes registrar en el cuerpo. Tienes que ir a juro a hacer las horas. ¿Cómo hacer las horas? Haciendo la maestría que te da la pasantía. Es la única forma.
But at the same time, something that I found very interesting here is that everything is around connections. It's not what you know, it's who you know. And that's something that I'd like people to know. Like, sometimes it's not the fact that you're smart or your technical skills are in a second term when it comes to finding jobs. That's something that I've been working on to grow my network, go to these events, get in a professional setting, more experience, like getting connected with different people with in the same industry, because I think that's the way that things work here. That's what I've heard, and that's my experience. The job that I found for the summer, it was actually because someone else recommended me, and that's how I got it. But like otherwise, if that person didn't do that, I couldn't find a job.
In the face of adversity, there is resilience, strength, and the unwavering spirit of empowerment. By championing diversity initiatives and seeking mentorship from trailblazing female leaders, Latinas can defy expectations, shatter barriers, and forge a path illuminated by their own brilliance, lighting the way for generations to come. It is time for everyone to acknowledge the gender salary gap, to confront the biases that perpetuate it, and to work together towards a future where every woman, regardless of her background, has an equal opportunity to thrive. It is time to break the glass ceiling and to unglue the sticky floor for every human being.